Alright, let's dive into something that's got the football world buzzing right now. Imagine this, a £34.2 million defender, Ousmane Diomande, suddenly back on the market after Nottingham Forest negotiations with Sporting Lisbon fell apart. And guess who's reportedly been keeping an eye on him? Liverpool. But here's the thing, this isn't just another transfer rumor. It's a story that raises some really interesting questions about strategy, value, and what clubs prioritize in today's market. So, let's break it down. First off, what makes this really interesting is the timing. Liverpool's defense has been hit hard with injuries lately, and Diomande, a 22-year-old Ivorian centre-back, has been on their radar for a while. Personally, I think this could be one of those situations where a club's long-term interest aligns perfectly with a short-term need. But here's where it gets tricky. Nottingham Forest, a club with far fewer resources than Liverpool, couldn't get the deal over the line because of the price tag. And that's where I have to ask, how is £34.2 million a stumbling block for a Premier League club in 2026? I mean, we're talking about a league where £100 million transfers are becoming the norm. From my perspective, this says more about Forest's financial constraints than it does about Diomande's value. Now, let's talk about the player himself. Diomande's stats are eye-catching, especially his passing ability. We're talking 93.1% pass accuracy and 67.1% accuracy on long balls, numbers that put him in the 95th and 97th percentiles, respectively. That's not just good, that's elite. In today's game, where build-up play from the back is crucial, a defender like Diomande could be a game-changer. But, and this is a big but, his defensive stats aren't as impressive. His duel and aerial duel percentages are below what you'd expect from a top-tier centre-back. One thing that immediately stands out is how much context matters here. He plays for a dominant side in Portugal, where he's not constantly under pressure. But the Premier League? That's a different beast. Physicality and set-piece play are massive, and I'm not sure Diomande's current skill set fully prepares him for that. What many people don't realize is that Liverpool's interest in Diomande might not just be about filling a gap. It's about long-term potential. Klopp's system thrives on defenders who can contribute to the attack, and Diomande's passing ability fits that mold perfectly. But here's the deeper question, are Liverpool willing to invest in a player who might need time to adapt to the physical demands of the Premier League? Personally, I think they should. If you take a step back and think about it, every player has areas to improve, and at 22, Diomande has time on his side. What this really suggests is that Liverpool sees something special in him, something worth developing. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This situation isn't just about Liverpool or Diomande, it's about the transfer market as a whole. Nottingham Forest's inability to close the deal highlights the growing gap between the financial powerhouses and the rest of the league. It's a trend we've seen for years, but this just makes it more obvious. In my opinion, this is where smaller clubs are really feeling the pinch. They are competing in the same market as clubs with far deeper pockets, and it's only going to get harder. Finally, let's talk about Liverpool's broader strategy. They're also reportedly in talks with PSG for Bradley Barcola, a deal that could cost them over £100 million. That's a massive investment, and it raises questions about how much they're willing to spend this summer. If they go for Diomande, it could be a sign that they're balancing big money moves with more calculated, value-based signings. A detail I find fascinating is how clubs like Liverpool are navigating this market. They're not just throwing money around, they're looking for players who fit their system and have room to grow. So, where does this leave us? Personally, I think Liverpool signing Diomande would be a smart move. Yes, there are risks, but the potential upside is huge. And if they can develop him into the player he could be, it's a win-win. But here's my closing thought, In a market where prices keep soaring, clubs like Liverpool are going to have to get creative. It's not just about spending big, it's about spending smart. And if they can pull this off, it could set a new standard for how top clubs approach transfers. What do you think? Is Diomande worth the gamble, or should Liverpool look elsewhere? Let me know in the comments below.